First of all, is Aries De La Cruz here from the governor's office? He's a great ally of the chamber, therefore all our members keeping us abreast of important issues. And our next honoree helps shape and voice some of those issues. He's a champion for equality, and I know he started, as you can see, his bio as a staff attorney for Lambda Legal, and he also is doing some great things for equality. But I have a good friend of ours, the counsel of the Chamber of Commerce, Brad Sussman. He works for HIDA Law, and he wore similar shoes. He worked with the governor's office before he went into private practice. So he wanted to take this opportunity to introduce the governor's counsel, Alphonso David.
I just wanted to say a few words about Alphonso David, but first, I want, as Mark said, Alphonso David is really, and this governor's office are really huge champions of civil rights and employee rights. And why does the chamber, care about that? We care about businesses, not workers, and we care about workers because we care about businesses. When you have folks that are really fixed on leveling the playing field, it makes it so that businesses can thrive. Businesses don't have to race to the bottom. They can pay their workers, they can do things the right way, and that's why you need real referees that care about worker rights. So just a few words about Alphonso David. I was sort of a fly on the wall during his spectacular public service career. I was doing advance for the governor when he was the head of the Civil Rights Division at the Attorney General's office. And I'm sure you all know about Andrew Cuomo. I'm sure you've heard remarks of his before. And anytime the governor speaks about civil rights and speaks about human rights and speaks about justice issues, it's really his top priority. It's really something he cares very deeply about. He feels that New York State should be a laboratory for the rest of the country, that we should be the leaders in terms of social justice. And the person he appointed, both at the Attorney General's office and then as governor, to be the architect of that civil rights policy was Alphonso David. And he is just, he's become one of the top appointed officials in the state. But really it's because he is the mind and one of the real leaders behind the governor's effort to be the real leader in civil rights and justice. So without further ado, Alphonso David. Yes.
Brad, thank you. Thank you for that introduction, and Mark, thank you for everything that you do, and to the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce as well, for this recognition and this award. And I would also like to recognize the other honorees, particularly Hazel Dukes, who I consider to be my godmother. A little bit about me. I was born in the United States, but I grew up in West Africa for 14 years. And come from a very privileged family. My father was the mayor of Monrovia, capital city of Liberia. My uncle was the president of the country. And I lived a really privileged existence for 14 years, or 10 years, until there was a military coup. And my uncle was assassinated, and my father was incarcerated for 18 months. And we were placed under house arrest. And during that experience, it taught me a lot about liberty. It taught me a lot about human rights. It also taught me a lot about democracy. I have been privileged to work on civil rights issues for most of my professional career. Fighting for the rights of the disenfranchised, fighting for the voiceless, fighting for issues that people may not all care about, but most importantly, fighting to make sure that we increase the level of awareness in all communities. We often talk about all the successes that we've had, and we have had successes. But I often think that when we talk about our successes, we often use it to cuddle us into believing that we've actually arrived. And I submit to you that we have not. Although desegregation of schools is illegal, we have de facto desegregation of schools in certain communities, even in the state. Certain communities where children are regulated to poor, failing schools simply because of where they live or how districts distribute money to their schools. Although we prohibit discrimination in housing, everyone knows that's the law, we still have public housing, even in this state, that fail basic health and safety standards. We also have laws in this state that discriminate against in employment based on criminal history, those who are formerly incarcerated, primarily Black and Latino men. But some employers are still fearful of hiring them. And although we have the most robust minority and women-owned business program in the country, we have the highest utilization, we have the highest goals, we still have large employers, large contractors that create barriers for minorities and women in certain projects. These are barriers that exist, and they have existed for quite some time. They exist to the concept, and they are anathema to full integration. And the consequences are real. They're real for the workers, for the parents, for the entrepreneurs that are seeking to thrive and seeking to succeed. But they're also real for the successors that haven't even been fully realized. Which is why I do the work that I do, and I'm passionate about the work that I do. I sense in this time, in this presidency, in this federal presidency, that we are losing the sense of urgency. And we cannot lose the sense of urgency because it is so real for the people on the ground. We are often listening to voices that are creating noise. And we forget about what's important. Decisions are being made as we listen to noise. Rights are being taken away as we listen to noise. The constructs that we often operate in that we think are so well enshrined in our laws are being taken away as we listen to noise. And I appreciate those that are standing with us at the forefront, at the front lines, making sure that we listen to what's really important. Because if we don't, we will see that those rights that we think are afterthoughts actually become afterthoughts because they will no longer exist. And the work that I do, the work that the governor does, the work that many of you in this room do behind the scenes are so important. The employer that will take the risk on someone who's formerly incarcerated because they actually believe in fairness. The large contractor that will say, yes, I know you are a woman or you are a minority and you've been excluded, but you do have the experience and the expertise to do this job and I will give you a chance. That work is just as important as the work that I do. Because we in government cannot do it alone. We need those in the private sector. Not to only do and believe in the values that we believe in, but actually do the work to make sure that it's fully realized. And because you are honoring the people here today, I know that it is a testament to the vision that we care about. And I hope that we can continue the path forward, not backwards, as we know this president is trying to take us. I don't want to go back to when America was great. Because when America was great, I was not considered a full citizen under the Constitution. I don't mean to be overly political, but I think that as we think about inclusivity, there is enough within this pie for all of us. And I hope that all of you in this room will continue to support that vision, because that's the only way we can truly succeed. Thank you.